All right, welcome back, and we're walking up to our 2014 Chevy Volt. So this is the newest of the hybrids that we have here. Much of you are familiar with this vehicle. This is a second driver also, so this vehicle also drives. It goes with us on recruiting trips and things like that. So we do like to keep this vehicle nice. We also tend to like to schedule major services for this vehicle so that the vehicle isn't down for extended periods, because it does mean that it's a little bit cheaper for us to go and do recruiting trips and things like that. So we'll open the hood on this one. Give you a nice view under the hood. Those of you that might not be familiar with this vehicle, it does have a little bit more orange stuff going on underneath this hood. GM calls this an extended range electric vehicle, which means essentially it operates like an electric vehicle for most of the time, as long as it's charged. As soon as the battery goes dead, it converts back to a more traditional parallel or series hybrid. So this would be called a strong hybrid or a plug-in hybrid by today's standards, which is a little bit of a different connotation compared to, say, a Prius, which might just be considered a strong hybrid. So here's in the back. It's relatively flat. For those of you looking for the 12-volt auxiliary battery, it is under those panels just below here. So if you pop these up, there's our positive terminal underneath another cover, and our negative terminal right under there. There's some audio equipment, the amplifier and the subwoofer and everything like that is underneath that cover. There's also our high voltage inverter. There is space to store the charger that comes with the vehicle here. There is also an auxiliary air pump, since this vehicle does not have a spare. So most of the 12-volt auxiliary stuff is in the back. And then if we come up here, we have the charge port on the left side of the car. This charge port, when you disconnect, this charge port just closes. And then in early generations of the Volt, up to about 2013, they had an electric release. The newer ones are just push to open, push to close. So it's much like a gas filler door. And then you just plug that in just like that. So this will charge typically anytime it's in the shop. It'll be on the charger, beep, confirming that the charger is connected and charging. But this vehicle is a little bit different because it does have the charger. Anytime the charger is hooked up, you want to make an additional caution to not disconnect the service plug. So even the service information tells you that you definitely want to make sure that that is disconnected before disconnecting the service plug. And on this vehicle, the service plug is actually a little easier to get to. So we're going to go down here in the center console. And if we pull out this tray in the center console, there's a little warning down here, and what I call a little diaper wrap. And this diaper wrap pulls forward, and that's our orange service plug just right there. So that one's a little bit easier to get to. You can be in the comfort of this luxurious alpine leather interior and disconnect your service plug there. GM's pretty stringent on making sure the 12-volt auxiliary battery is also disconnected. So you want to make sure that you do that as well. It's never a good idea to have the service plug disconnected and the 12-volt not disconnected. So you will set multiple codes and multiple modules. There's a lot of things that will be unhappy. So it's always a good idea to follow that service procedure on this one. This vehicle also is unique in the fact that it has two DLC ports. So there are sub-service procedures that will specifically state that you need to plug into DLC 2. DLC 2 is also under the dash, just like DLC 1. So DLC 1, typical emissions, is right under the dash there. Don't know if you can see that or not. DLC 2 is actually just under the dash on the passenger side here. And again, I don't know if it's bright enough to see that, but it is just under the dash, right in front of the passenger side. So this Volt is a 2014. And it is pretty much, for the most part, fully optioned out. So just about all the options are on this vehicle. There is one size of wheel that is bigger than this, I believe 19s. This is 17s, and we also declined a nav option. So, but it's pretty well optioned out, and For the most part, the service procedures are pretty similar to other hybrids, just given the fact that it's a plug-in hybrid. Gives you the extra step of making sure that chargers are disconnected and things like that when you go to disconnect the high voltage system. So